You're now listening to episode 87 of Signed In, an Xbox 360 podcast, recorded on February 18th, 2012. Find us online at signedinpodcast.com. Welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superfro33.
I'm Craig Propdresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
What's up, boys?
What's up, boys?
All right.
What?
I'm stopping that already.
What are you stopping?
Flay.
I started it.
I know.
Sean's continuing it.
I know. And I'm shutting it down.
You're shutting it down for now, but it's a long show.
It is a long show. And we like
I do take naps
and we do like to return to...
I'll guarantee you
we
ain't
usually
gonna
go full circle.
You ain't going to stop it. You can't stop that bum rush.
Yo, bum rush the stage.
I don't know what's happening. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, actually. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Great.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting
Marvelous.
show.
Is it? Why?
I just haven't played a lot of games.
I haven't either.
Like, until like the second half of this past week.
Have I?
We can just wrap it up now. Boys!
Boys, just
Told you to be back.
Just listen to last episode and add a couple. I bought it or I played more of it.
No, you know
what I played.
Yeah, true.
I've been in a weird funk game wise, and I know that like there hasn't been a lot out. Exactly, I can feel it.
Feel the funk.
Like I can feel the tear every time I try to move. Like it's just I don't know what that means. But
your gaming muscles are just you got what is after.
Got to limber up, man.
there's been some stuff out. I just still have not been able to get in the
Atrophy.
mood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. We've been doing tons of stuff around the house, like me.
Yeah.
So like we've been redesigning our house, not redesigning, but overhauling lots
Raised
of rooms.
it to the ground.
Pretty much. We've been clearing out a bunch of stuff. We've been going in purge
How
mode.
does passive aggressive house feel about that?
I don't know. We're waiting for the reaction. I know, right? It's going to start. We're purging a lot from the house, like getting rid of a lot of our old collections and like trying to like curve our like.
It's probably
Is
gonna
this like when you fight Gladys at the end of the portal? You're taking out
Exactly.
parts of its personality
Right,
one
and
by
they're
one.
like, I really like those CDs. Oh, I guess I'll listen to nothing but my emptiness. That's what it'll do. So I don't know. We'll see when I get rid of all this stuff because we're dumping all our music and everything else, and it feels good, but it's not leaving me time for anything else.
Sure, yeah.
And like you said, I'm sure the house is going to make me pay for it.
Well, unless you're getting all this extra weight out of her, and then maybe she'll just think she's all that and just start wandering around the house.
Oh, you know what? We're going to come home and she's going to like have other people in it.
Yeah. It's like, come on in and checking me out.
She'll be cheating on
Look
you.
how
God
good I
damn
look.
it.
Look how good I look now.
And then we're going to walk in and they're going to be like sitting there watching TV, and it's like they're not stealing anything. They're just going to be like, well, this is awkward.
But your house is all about
So, do
not
we
going
gotta go?
downstairs, though. No. Still don't go downstairs. Stay away from the cellar.
Well, yeah, don't go in there. But anyway, so what have you guys been up to?
I've been doing
busy?
some house stuff too, but also I think part of it has just been there's been a slight shift away from the Xbox because when my girlfriend moved in, she brought some of the accoutrements from her old apartment,
Nice.
including an Apple TV and a PS3, and so I've been watching Netflix on Apple TV more because I like their queue system.
Yeah.
The interface is a little.
What a traitor.
nicer. I know, and then I got Shadow of the Colossus HD on PS3.
Oh, okay,
so,
well, that's fine.
so I've been going back through that, and so
So we can start doing a PS3 podcast.
no.
Let's turn this one into. We'll have a PS3 segment.
I'll have one game to talk about every 3 months. Yeah, I'm sure.
Me too.
So you guys are going to buy me a PS3?
No,
Oh,
this is what we had to talk to you about.
Wait. I want a Blu-ray player.
It's really going to be a two-man show. We tried working out space for 3, but it just doesn't work.
That's right. Strangely enough, the studio changes size when
And
we
I-
do that podcast.
And I
doesn't
thought
work.
me getting the Kinect was just to keep me on the show, but no.
Well, it is that show. I mean, this show.
This show.
The show, but
Getting
not
my
this other
references all
one.
mixed up.
That other one, no.
No.
Really, the PS3 show is just going to be us talking about Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, Little Big
The
Planet.
HD collection.
Yeah.
A few of the minis.
Oh, good times. What about you, Sean?
What?
Busy couple of weeks?
Yeah, I've been cleaning up around the house, and
Spring cleaning.
What's up with us all doing housework?
Spring.
we had the.
Is that what it is?
We had the future
have an
in-laws.
instinct.
The future in-laws stopped by, so that's what
okay, there
the house
you go.
cleaning on my part.
okay.
Yeah, but just I've been playing mostly just a lot of the same stuff that I've been playing. I
Sitting on your laurels.
I tried to get in on a disc game, and I just couldn't. And
well, we'll talk about
a
that.
lot of good stuff coming out. Yeah.
I went back to Rock Band. They came out with that Bush 3-pack 2 weeks ago, and it is awesome.
Nice.
Man.
It's really good.
I
And
need to
it made me
return to
play a
those.
bunch again. So I was playing that for like a week solid. Whenever I had Xbox time, I'm like, I should play all this other stuff. Oh, I want to play some Rock Band.
That's
It's been a while.
That's cool, though.
So it's good to get back into it.
Yeah.
Once in a while. All right. Well, we do have some games to talk about, though.
A few.
A couple. I played some Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning.
Yeah.
Which we should just call KOA because I hate Amalur.
That sounds like a fighting game.
It does kind of.
The girl.
Reckoning.
Because I'm thinking of
KOA.
KOF.
Yeah. KOA.
Reckoning.
Reckoning.
Ding ding.
I played some Darkness 2. The Darkness 2.
Yeah.
Sorry. The new pinball table for Pinball FX, Epic Quest, which is completely epic and
is
a quest. And a little bit more on Final Fantasy XIII-2, maybe, that I can mention, but not too much more.
Sweet.
Well, we'll
If
see.
we're good.
If we get into the mood.
Oh, I'll set some atmosphere.
It is sexy. What about you guys? What do you got?
Not a lot for me. Barely anything in indie, and most of what I've been playing is the arcade game Warp, which kicks off the Spring House Party.
Yeah, something like that.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Sure.
But I've been playing a lot of that.
Literally, I've been doing nothing else. My mind is a blank.
I see.
I don't know anything.
And then I did try out the Mass Effect 3 demo, and I've got quite a bit to say about that.
I did not try
All
that.
spoilery.
I did not try that.
I tried that as well.
Because I'm a baby and I'm avoiding it all until I can have I can be a fresh virgin when I go into Mass Effect 3
Yeah.
for once.
I'm
still a virgin.
I'm always a fresh
Exactly.
virgin when I play Mass Effect. It's awesome.
We do a fucking video game podcast.
I know.
Like any of us are getting laid. And what else you got, Sean?
I can't even say anything to that.
Exactly. There's no denying the
Really, I rented some KOA, but I did touch. I got to play a little bit more of that. I bought Gotham City Impostors. Played some I got to play the full game of Simpsons.
Arcade.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And a smattering of some indie games. I also got to try out that demo for Mass Effect, and I'm looking forward to some conversation.
Excellent.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to leave
Yeah.
the room.
Oh, now I'm
Finally.
really looking forward to this conversation.
That's how it's going to go.
Everything turned better.
I don't know what I thought. I don't know what I thought was going to
Best
happen
show
out there.
ever. Epper?
It's like I'm not even here.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
It'll be a great show that nobody can speak on. I'm glad I won't be a part of it. All right. Well, before we jump into indie games, there was a marketplace update.
Yes.
Which I think we wanted to mention too at the top of the
Correct.
show. It's nice to see.
Yeah.
A little bit more organized.
It seems, I don't know if it's affected anything other than the games marketplace, but the primary effect is on the games marketplace with things being a little more forward, a little more accessible. And so now instead of going in to games marketplace and then shuffling over to the games thing and then shuffling over to game type.
Type.
Yeah. Now that's gone, and they actually have two separate icons, one for arcade and one for indie. Like right there in the menu.
Like
Nice.
it always should have been.
Yeah, and so you can go down, and so then it's just highlighting indie games, and you can look at them based on release date, you can look at them based on downloads, you can look at them based on ratings.
Nice.
And it's got that massively complete list instead of just like the 25 that we used to get. You can basically look at every indie game ranked by however
nice.
you want it ranked. So yeah, it is pretty spectacular. It's a good improvement.
But it does take away the game type indie game that
I know.
now that is a reference nobody will understand.
That'll make the nerds like it even more.
Exactly. Now it's even more cult.
It is. Yeah.
Underground. Like you don't even know. It was like
It's old school. Game
you
type.
missed that 2-month
parkour.
window. Come on. Parkour.
Those people that didn't own an Xbox in that little time there.
Yeah. You didn't have it from like November to February. You don't even know what this is talking about.
They got their account reactivated, and they're like, what is this game type? This game's lame. This doesn't even make any sense.
There's probably somebody out there who's refusing the update over and over again just so they can stay in the
Hardcore. Hardcore parkour.
parkour.
And there goes my...
That's our slogan. No,
And now that I changed it, I think it's going to be even better because my hoodie girl cosplay that I'm doing for San Diego this year will be even more niche. Like it's going to be even more like inside. You don't even know. My hoodie girl parkour.
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 It's going to be awesome. Well, good. Anyway, good to see the marketplace change
Yeah,
that because it's been needed.
And it looks like a few other things got rearranged, and it's a little more sensible.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
Like when you look at the different menus, it's like this is the stuff that I want to get to right away. So
Okay,
Awesome.
cool.
it's very nice.
I haven't had time to play with it, so
Yeah. So I mean, like I think the games on demand, and I think the games on demand is an icon as well. But the Xbox Originals isn't as prominent as it used to be. But I think that's still in games on demand.
because nobody cares.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision.
I know they make a ton of money off of them.
Yeah.
but
Well,
Isn't that the
Yeah,
old
seriously.
that's the old
Yeah,
Xbox game,
original
right?
Xbox games. Yeah. Oh, there's some good ones in there.
Yeah.
Psychonauts used to be in there. It's not in there anymore. I think there was a license that went up
because they're
or
going to
something.
put it out on XBLA with the achievements.
Maybe I don't know.
No, they're not. But I want them to.
Well, if you talk about it enough, maybe they will because they did some
Stubbs the
updates to the game marketplace. You just people gotta be vocal.
That's right.
Go out there.
All right. Should we move on to some indie games?
Occupy Xbox.
No. I do. Every day I sit on
You're
my
very
couch.
topical, Sean.
I know. Everybody, there was like, that's what I do all the time. I
Man.
occupy Xbox daily.
We take heat all the time about getting too political on the show. I just don't want to continue it. Us. Right?
Yeah, you're right. Sorry I even brought it up.
Come on, Sean.
Yeah, I know.
We try to stay off that road.
I know. I just it's building up inside, and I just need to
need to
voice
get out.
my opinion.
You need to live in a tent.
Your inner pundit breaks out.
Yes.
All right. Indie games. Should we move on and
Pardon.
start the show?
Yes.
For real?
All right.
All right. I'll kick it off, or unless Sean wants to, or unless you want to, Craig.
What was that?
I want to give it up to everybody else because I got a couple.
Since
I don't
when
know
are
what
you-
everybody
Give
else
it up.
had. so-
Give it up, Jeremy.
All right. One I want to mention.
always does.
I didn't play too much of it, but one I want to mention is O.C.D. Did anybody else check that
I
out?
saw it.
Okay.
I didn't try it. No.
Which it comes from Pouncing Kitten Games. It is 80 points.
Yes.
It is OCD stands for Optimal Character Development.
Correct.
What this essentially is all of the, I guess, quote unquote, boring parts, but the way that they sell it is, are you tired of all those great looking graphics, like the next gen graphics,
Long cutscenes.
all the long cutscenes and the story that gets in the way?
It's just pure grinding.
This is
isn't it?
all grinding. So it's a menu. You pick your character, the class that you want to be, and it has your stats. And then you go in and build up and level up by you play different games. They're like kind of Bejeweled type games.
Yeah.
So you go in and play little mini versions of Bejeweled to raise up your level, to get experience points. You can go into farming, so you can like mine things and get gems and weapons and food and things like that. And those are all in a different type of like Bejeweled type game.
Yeah.
And so you build those up over time, and then if you match so many like things over time, you get that item. And so then you can go in and like sell the items or trade the items and then equip yourself. But there's actually no fighting that I could find. So it's really just the full-on grind of the game. It's really low level as far as like the way that the Bejeweled game works. It's not very crisp. It's not very, clean looking as far as the animation style. But the idea of it is funny to me, so I recommend checking out just because the concept is pretty clever and funny. I thought it was a humorous slant on it.
That's cool.
So I didn't play it too much. I didn't get involved, but it looks like, I mean, obviously it's just
80 points, is that
It
right?
is 80 points, and it's a full-on grind game. That's all you're doing. So check it out just for a laugh, at least, because it's pretty hilarious.
Nice.
Awesome. The only thing I just purchased it. I haven't even played it. It's Oozi Earth Adventure Chapter 3, which is that platformer Oozi that we've talked about several times on the show. And I've been purchasing them. It's 80 points, and it's a great platformer. And I haven't played it because I haven't finished Chapter 2 yet. So
I
It
played
could be completely broken.
Yeah.
it could be. It could
And now
be.
you're
but
recommending people get
based
it.
on Chapter 2, I'm going to imagine Oozi has a few more abilities because he keeps collecting his gear throughout the game.
I don't know what abilities he's collect because I haven't finished 2, but I really like the look of it, and I just got to buy all 3 of them. I just got to bite the bullet.
Did you
and
play
just do
3?
it. I played through the trial, and every time I played,
Also, it didn't break, so we know that.
yeah, each one of
Breaks
the
right after the demo.
each one of the
Brilliant.
games that I
On a
played
timer.
is I've gone through time on it, and I just need to just purchase it.
Yeah, it's a
and
really
I
good
just
game,
have it,
and for
you know.
80 points,
Yeah.
and it's really laid back and quite fun, and
Yeah.
well done great polish on it and great music.
Well,
Controls are really slick.
Yeah.
And even if you haven't got to it yet, I mean, it's good to let people know that it's out there.
Yeah, I mean, just and again, because they're continuing on with this, so I think they're
nice to see the
definitely
commitment.
going to go all the way through. I don't know how many chapters they plan for,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised if there were like 5 or something.
Yep.
But,
Cool. I like it.
yeah, I like it a lot.
I just need to buy it. I have Gray Infection. It's sold
Gross.
I'm sorry. Let's. I'm going to
Sounds
scooch
terrible.
away
I
over
know.
here.
And it explains the smell.
and I bought it for 80 points. No, I didn't. It sells for 80 points from Undead Code Studios. This one's a platformer. It's kind of, you start out in this gray. That's the Gray Infection. And then these particles that
You
are
start out in gray.
the whole screen's gray.
Okay.
It's full color, but at the time everything's gray,
Okay.
shades of gray.
Sure, okay.
And then there's these.
I thought it was all just one color. Like
No.
there was nothing in the background. It's just you in this field of gray. I'm like, this is very avant-garde. I'm intrigued.
But there's you start on these platforms, and there's these particles that are flying in front of you. If you shoot out the particle, the first one you just have to shoot one, and then it makes everything colored, and then you just jump to the end. And then the second one, there's a couple different particles. Some of them you have to shoot. You have to kill them all. You shoot all particles. That's what it tells you to do. But the problem was,
Like kill him on.
yeah,
Got to kill them all.
But the only problem with it is some of the particles, if you shoot them, they'll take out a platform that you're standing on. So then you have, it's like a trial and error type thing. So now you got to figure out what particle you shoot is gonna, and then some of them will make platforms show up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I really got annoyed by the game, but I continued to play it. Like I'm like, there's got to be this.
You're becoming obsessive about it.
Exactly, and I think that's what the game like spouts. Like, do you like challenges? Do you like all this stuff?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't like that stuff, but I still continue to play it till the time went out. And I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. The graphics are really kind of like minimal, but because you're just this little guy. I think his name is called like Joss Stress or something like that. He's like this little Halo-looking dude, and you're just shooting at on these platforms. I don't know.
I have a question. When you said that, so basically when you're shooting the pixels, it's like adding the color in the background to the game, which I really like that concept. And is it, you said it's changing, so it makes some show up as well. So when you shoot some pixels and it makes the color show up, then would there be some like platforms that weren't there because they were covered before? Okay, I like that.
And so
that's kind of cool.
That's your way to get to the exit, because essentially it's a puzzle game, a platformer puzzler. So you got to get from point A to point B, but you have to shoot the particles. The only problem is if you shoot some of them, and they're moving. Some are moving up and down. Some are just kind of moving randomly.
Oh yeah, they're moving.
Yeah, they are. And that's what sucks, because you'll shoot one, and then like I made it to the end, and the particles, if they touch you, they hurt you. So watch out for that.
Gotcha.
Because I was like, yeah, I passed it, and I got hit, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Are we going to start getting YouTube videos of you trying to clear these levels?
I might actually. That's been my idea, because the fact that I sat in this one level forever to do it, and was so that would have just, and my comments during the whole thing. So I'm kind of thinking about that.
Let's do that.
Yes, but
Video
it's
podcast.
totally worth check. I think it's worth checking out for 80 points. And if you like games that drive you nuts, but you really want to sit and play them,
Right.
And it seemed like there's 30 some levels to it, like modes or modules or whatever they call them. Yeah.
You can do that video podcast by yourself while we do our PS3.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
Well, I want to check that out. I like the idea, the concept.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's simple,
That's
but
me.
hard. Nah,
Me
never
to a
mind.
T.
It's a ripoff of the Saboteur. What are you talking about? Those pixels are Nazis.
I barely played that game, so.
Nazi pixels.
Was that supposed to build up your character? Because you didn't.
No, not at all. I have another that I played, which was Picbox. This comes from Stinky Badger Games. It is 80 points. Some of these names of these companies are amazing.
In order to name your indie game company, you get 2 hats. One is full of adjectives, the other is full of nouns. You pull them out.
And that's how
there
you
go.
name it.
Yeah, you're stuck with it.
Well, I had Pouncing Kitten.
Yeah.
And
See?
that's a verb, though, right?
No, it's an adjectival form of the verb.
We're starting a whole nother terrible podcast
It's not a true verb because there's no subject in that sentence.
Can we play classical music behind this? I think it would really
Do you want me to start my job right here?
I never want you to, but I usually don't get a choice. All right, anyway, Stinky Badger Games, it is 80 points. Are you guys familiar with the Picross games for the DS?
I've heard of them.
They're like you'll have a tile or a quadrant laid out basically with all these little squares, and then they have numbers along the top and the different axes. It's before you correct me, Mr. Literature. Across the top and the side.
Not my name.
And so there'll be numbers, and it's basically making a picture out of the pixels within that square. And so those numbers are telling you what pixels in those squares are left and which ones are you can knock out, basically. So if there's a row of 5 and the number is 5, then all of those are saved. If there's a number 1, then there's only 1 pixel in that square, and you can block out all the rest if you've gotten the 1 already in there. And they're separated by commas. So if they're separated by commas, the numbers are. It's kind of difficult to explain. I've never had to work out. I've never had to verbally explain how Picross works. If there's commas, then that means
it sounds like math.
It is out. Kind of. I love the game. It is probably. I still play it. It's years and years and years old, and I still play it on my DS all the time. It's like what I play on my DS. I love it. But if there's commas, so there'll be multiple numbers and then a comma separating them. That means there's a space between them. So you'll have one block that's filled in, and then you can knock out a couple. So anyway, it's
like a cross-stitch pattern.
Exactly right. But you have to work it out mathematically and kind of deduce it and work it out and how it is. And I love it.
Cool.
This is essentially that. But now on your Xbox, in an indie game form.
Yeah.
There's 100 puzzles in the game. It's really set up really well. I played a couple that were supposed to be like this before on the live marketplace, and it hasn't been that great.
Oh, really?
They haven't been great versions of it. They've been kind of cumbersome as far as the controls and maneuvering around the screen, because some of the puzzles get kind of big.
Right.
You start in a simple 5x5 grid, but it eventually gets to 20x20, 25x25, bigger than that. And so there's a sampling of the puzzles on here. I went ahead and picked it up for $1 because I love those kind of games, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Cool.
It's really well done. It seems just really tight. There's an actual tutorial on there that probably explains it better than I could. That's actually
impossible.
It's audio and video.
Marvelous.
So
I can picture it right now.
You play. That's terrible. You're mean to me.
You're showing vulnerability today. I'm pouncing on
That's
it.
how I am.
Bouncing kidding.
It's like just me with my ass in the air.
Bouncing prof.
There is a tutorial as I'm trying.
I'm imagining the icon for that now.
I'm not. I don't want to imagine you pouncing on anything. The tutorial is what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah. Better than you. Right?
Audio and video.
Okay.
So they're showing you, and then I assume the designer of the game is also explaining what's happening, which was nice to see. Not just so for Sean and me, who don't like to read, he's actually just explaining to you what you need to understand about it, which was nice. So that was really nice. And there are awardments too, like 28 awardments you can get playing the game. So that's a nice little bonus.
Yeah.
Check it out if you like the Picross games, because it's nice to see one done well on there.
Cool.
And it seemed pretty tight. So
cool.
I got last for me is Katana Lad. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Lad. Katana Land.
That's a little different.
Yeah, Katana Land.
Different scope.
Yes.
is there a dude in it?
Well, there is, and
Okay.
he's Katana Kid. So I almost had it right.
enough.
It was like a Legion of Superheroes mixed up there.
Have you written them to say maybe they should change the name of their game?
Maybe
Katana
I'm
Land?
thinking about it. Well,
Katana Land.
it's from Kablamo Games. Kablamo Games.
Okay.
It sold for 80 points. And it's another platformer. I've kind of got that going on this week.
You got the platformer market cornered.
Yeah, and you've got your Katana Kid, as I was saying, and you got to save this princess so she doesn't become this demon bride. And you have a katana. That's probably where your name comes from.
I was going to complain if there was no katanas in this.
And you almost have, and you have a throwing stars as well. And each level is, or shurikens, or whatever they're called. Shurikens. I don't know what they're called. So you have like those throwing star things.
Yes.
And so
this is the
those
best
things from
episode
Shinobi?
ever.
yeah, the Shinobi throwing star shurikens. I don't know. Cyrukens. I don't know what they're called. You guys are just laughing at me.
No.
No, I'm laughing that you're having fun with it.
I love it. Anyway, what
Yeah, that's why I was laughing.
But what was I saying? What really appealed to me was the art style of the game.
Yeah.
The cover art does not do the art style for the end game justice.
I think I remember seeing this there, and I just kind of passed over it.
Yeah, like that. It doesn't really. It looks better in game.
Does it? Okay.
And you've kind of got.
Look at the screenshots.
Yeah, there's.
I try to do that because sometimes they do those bad cover choices.
They do.
And I'm like, why did you pick this?
They really do. Yeah.
They should just take a picture of the screen and then put the name on it.
Sometimes.
Right.
I try to go in and look at them because sometimes it makes a huge difference.
No, it often does.
Yeah, but you start off and there's a tutorial level and then there's your first because it's a big map, kind of like from Super Mario Brothers. Like you move to like Mushroom, but they're like little China houses, whatever. Dagobahs. Dagobahs.
Dagobahs, I think that's
Little Dagobahs. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so then you're fighting
not the lad you're looking for.
Yes, and you're fighting other ninja, and so there's archers and there's other ones that have shurikens. And then you have other guys that have blades. But I had a lot of fun with
plates?
it. Blades.
Oh, okay. I thought they were spinning plates.
That'd been cooler. But and it's cool because it's a big map and you have to climb, jump, and you just have to fight who's in that. There's it tells you how many enemies are in each level.
Oh, okay, cool.
So once you're done with it, then the level's done.
Cool.
And you start off with 3 hearts. There's some kind of stealth mode thing, but I never pay attention to what's being said, and when anybody talks stealth, I usually just go, I'm not going to do it because that's not the way I play a game. So there might be something in that. So if anyone plays it and likes that part about it, that's pretty sweet. But I also liked it because there's 2 other characters that were locked during the trial. There was an archer, but you were silhouetted, and then there was a Viking, and he was silhouetted.
Right.
So I was like, I would like to see what those guys look like, so it gave me
that's kinda cool.
I'm probably gonna pick this one up. I didn't buy
nice.
Did you say it was 80 points?
it was
Yeah, you
80
did,
points, and the look looked a lot of fun. The controls are a little bit off, movement wise, a little bit flighty, but not as bad as that. Not as bad as the Plugimons.
Yeah.
Kind of on the Oozi. Sometimes I have a little problem with it's not as tight.
Sure.
On some things, but it's about the same, and I think the art's there, the style looks really cool, and it seemed a lot of fun. And plus, I want to see what those other guys were. And plus,
Vikings.
I do, and I want to know the names of them.
Your eye roll did not translate to the podcast.
It doesn't have to.
Jeremy.
People are already sitting at home going, I bet Jeremy's rolling his eyes. That Viking comment.
But I think it's called Katana Land, not Katana Lad.
Katana Lad.
Katana.
I like the sound of it. I like the idea of the
it does
overhead
sound
map,
really cool.
the world map, and
Yeah, I wish there was just in the trial. It was just other than the 2.
Yeah.
because
That's the hook, man.
You passed that first one, and it looked like there was a lot of other. I didn't count them, but it looked like there was a lot of other. Screens. Levels. Jeez.
Dagobahs.
Dagobahs.
Correct.
There was a shit ton of Dagobahs up in that place.
Dagobahs up in this
Peace.
taking a land speeder all around.
Not in Dagobah. You
Oh,
can't
that's
get
right.
around there. Come on. Jeez.
That's Yoda's place, right?
Yeah, they're shooting R2s all over the place.
Can people hear my eye rolls now?
I watched
Don't hurt
Empire
yourself
yesterday.
doing that.
It was awesome.
Damn.
You watched what?
Empire yesterday.
Are you getting hyped up to go to the 3D?
Yeah.
Phantom Menace?
Actually going to see it today.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Why would I lie?
Why would you do it?
Why wouldn't I?
No, honestly, yeah. Why would he lie? If he wasn't going to do it, why would he lie?
And why wouldn't I go?
Just to fit his role.
Not even a
I don't
role.
think so.
I want to go.
Well, really?
Oh, let's not get into this, especially on air, because then it's going to be me getting mad.
Maybe that's why I want to get into it.
I know, exactly.
Sounds great. Well, let's not keep you from that anymore.
We're not. We got plenty of time. Trust me.
Oh my goodness.
Any more indie?
No, that's
No,
it.
that's
it?
it.
That's it.
Roll on to XBLA.
Yes.
All right.
We had a couple older ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll kick it off with Simpsons. Simpsons. I got to play the full game of it, and it's it's hard. It is just
Hard.
It's
by
not,
yourself, probably.
But by yourself, that's the thing about that game.
Ninja Turtles is hard by yourself too.
And I always had a problem with Ninja Turtles and Simpsons. It feels
you don't have
like
friends.
Yeah, exactly. And whenever I went to the arcade, it was just me standing in like a 7-player game. That's always fun. But no, like I said before, like this one, and the same with Ninja Turtles. I have a hard time playing that game. I feel like I get beat up a lot, but it doesn't really matter in this form.
Right, that's what I'm saying. In this format, you can just continue,
quarters.
right?
Yes, it's endless quarters, but the achievements that are tied to it, like passing the game in 30 minutes, I got it done in 34, and I've been trying to get it done in less, but it's just like some of these bosses are like, it's stupid. It's like, anyway.
I think these arcade games should have an in-game stat for like the equivalent of how much you would have spent if you were at the arcade.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
Like, have that be an achievement? Like, that pops up, you just spent like $3 million on this game, and you'd be like, what?
And then you should be able to put that directly onto like Twitter, Facebook, or like any of the social apps.
Yeah.
That would be a selling tool for other people. They're like, wow, I can play it all for $10. Look how much value I got out of it.
But I like it. 800 points. It is it's a $10 game, but I want to play some more. I want to get into some multiplayer on it.
From the screenshots, because I didn't play it, but it looks like it's got a screen in the screen.
It is a screen, and it's very
weird,
reminiscent.
Because Turtles was full screen, right?
They went HD on it. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe if they lower it down to $5, I'll pick it up and then we can play together.
Yeah, I would probably play. I mean, I played it a lot when I was a kid in the arcade. But that's the thing is that I played it a lot. I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah, and I
fought that giant inflatable crusty balloon enough.
Spoilers.
But it's not like the first level boss.
No, it's that wrestler guy that shows up.
Jesus, guys, you gonna ruin everything?
Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm joking. Come on.
With you, it's hard to tell.
My thing is, it's like I played that X-Men one.
Yeah.
And that was $10, I think,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I just don't really know if I need anything beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do another one for $10, I don't think.
Yeah.
Unless they did the Avengers one.
It's understandable.
Then maybe.
See, and I'm in that boat. Yeah, I would
I
like
remember
that.
the Simpsons one being a little more robust, though.
I think it's only 8 levels.
Is it? Okay.
But for $5, I'd probably jump in and play it.
I'd buy
again.
that for $5.
I
don't think that's
sorry.
how it
That
goes.
is
Well, inflation.
terrible.
It's probably about right.
Yeah. That's right.
That guy's probably...
RoboCop didn't
We probably passed
properly
him.
anticipate
We probably
the future.
RoboCop?
Yeah, that was a RoboCop
I know,
reference.
but that's a video game I'd like to see to the arcade marketplace. The RoboCop arcade stand-up game. Oh man,
I don't even remember
remember
that.
that thing was awesome.
Are you sure you're not thinking
Your
of the
move,
Aerosmith
creep.
game?
Oh no, I know what I'm thinking about because you had to fight Ed, man. He'd show up and you're like, son of a bitch, I need my big gun.
Why don't we just ruin all the arcade games today?
like you would have fought Ed 209? Jeez, like 80 times during that game.
All right.
It's the only thing that RoboCop ever
in
fought.
the Aliens game, you have to fight some aliens once.
Spoiler.
The fuck?
Worlds are crashing right now.
Game over, man.
Game over.
You know what? I would want that Aliens versus Predator 4-player arcade game. You guys remember that
Ooh,
one?
yeah.
I do not remember
You could
that
be
one.
the different. You could be either a bunch of human characters or a bunch of predators, and like one had like the blade he could throw out. And
Yeah.
One had the laser. That one was pretty awesome.
I do not remember
Get on
that.
that Xbox.
In the Moonwalker game, Xbox. Because I want to
The
turn
Michael
it.
Jackson?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
turn the Michael Jackson robot thing, and you're like,
forgot about that
and oh, that shit was awesome. I was-
Ding 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 ding.
yeah, I was like, I get to be the yellow Michael Jackson.
Yikes.
The yellow one.
All right, should we move
Moving
on?
on, yes.
That was a nice memory lane tour. Appreciate that. Yeah.
So the game I've primarily been playing these past couple weeks is Warp, the first game out of the spring arcade festival doodad. What is it?
House party.
House party.
Uprising.
There's no kid in play. I'm very disappointed. Yes, and so I've forgotten to write down who this is by, but it's 800 points.
It is.
And so Warp is primarily a puzzle game, which also kind of looks like an action-adventure game. It's done in a sort of a slightly angled top-down view, and basically you're this little alien guy, cute little alien guy who gets abducted by a bunch of scientists and taken to this undersea lab to be experimented on. But then during their experiments, they fortunately for you, allow you a little too close to your power source that they had removed from you. And so you grab that, and so then you regain your power to teleport very short distances. You can teleport like about 6 feet in front of him, or around him. But he can teleport through walls and into things, into like barrels and stuff to hide, into people.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I played the demo.
Yes.
And so I'm playing along. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cute. Like, this guy is kind of cute or whatever, and you're blowing up objects and stuff.
Yes.
And then you get to the point where you jump into a dude.
Yeah.
And it has you move around and you explode the guy from inside. And I'm like, well, that's a little less cute.
Yes. Now you can.
It was awesome.
You can get through the game without killing people, and there is actually an achievement tied to doing that. And then there's one tied to killing 90% of the people in the facility.
But I was not expecting that move in the game.
Well, here's the thing: is that it starts up and it says rated M, 17 plus, and I'm like,
really?
That's surprising
Because it doesn't look like that. It looks like this cute little guy that you're going to be running around.
Because when you can teleport into people, you can teleport things into people because you later get other abilities like to switch places with stuff. So you might jump inside a person and then switch places with like a barrel, and then all of a sudden this barrel explodes out of a guy. And so it's very bloody, and there's body parts that fly out, and there's a lot of swearing in the game too.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I gotta admit that part puts me off a little bit. I really enjoy the game. I actually like the game quite a bit, but that part kind of puts me off just because it seems kind of unnecessary,
Out of place.
Yeah, because it's like if you imagine playing Splosion Man. But instead of the scientists blowing up the meat, they burst into like this huge spray of blood and body parts, and then they're going, "Oh shit!" all the time, and
yeah,
that's pretty much.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's just kind of just kind of bizarre.
Well, I mean, it struck me when I played that demo because I was not expecting it. Now it did have an impact on me because I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
But when it happened, and I think there was even before I did that, there was a portion where you get in this like thing where you're warping through a tube, or like shooting through a tube, and it kind of gave you a view really quick of some other rooms,
right?
And I went under a room that was like really bloody, and I was like, because it was
they're
like
experimenting on other aliens,
right? And so it was a quick flash, and I'm like, well, that was a little severe,
and it's kind of strange because you think, oh, okay, so they're just going with a more serious, a quote unquote adult tone or whatever, but it's not. It's still fairly lighthearted in terms of the way that it approaches things.
It seems at odds.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre juxtaposition. It's not enough to put me off on the game, but it does rub me a little off.
It seems weird too that why you would go for that mature.
Yeah,
like why would you want to exclude or like try to limit?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier to get away with it in a downloadable game format
unless
too.
Someone set parental settings on the
That's
Xbox.
True.
But actually, I would think it might be easier to block that sort of thing than
maybe. Well, I'm just looking as far as like
Anyway, this is not important. This is not an important discussion we're having here. Now, one thing that constantly gets me is that I keep forgetting that, or I keep thinking that I'm playing an action adventure game because you're running around this facility and there are enemies with guns and and you do kind of attack people in sort of a way, but really you can't get into that mentality because this is really a hardcore puzzle game. Like the people moving around is just kind of a pattern that you need to be able to anticipate and utilize. And but the warping ability is pretty fun. Like I said, you can warp into people and into like enemy turrets and other sorts of things. And then when you jump out, like if you choose not to blow them up, if you jump out, then they're kind of stunned for a little bit, which usually allows you some time to make an escape or whatever. And then there are certain walls that are too thick for you to be able to teleport through because, like I said, you can only teleport a short distance, and so you have to figure out other ways to either open the door or get around the wall. He's got an aversion to water. It kind of disables his abilities, which makes it kind of a pain since he's in an undersea lab. But you would think salt water does that to him. Yeah, and so later enemies get like this shield that's like this projected shield of water that if it touches you, then you kind of get stunned and lose your ability for a short period of time. But then there are also these little grubs that you're picking up. They're these little glowing pink things that he eats, and then he uses those to purchase upgrades. And so there are some gameplay upgrades, essentially, like, you can, for 4 grubs, you can purchase the ability to see all the grubs on your map. Or,
that's nice.
These film canisters.
Yeah, because that's how they had, like, they tell you how many are in each level and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of collectibles throughout there. And but then you can also upgrade your abilities. So I highly recommend spending, the 8 grubs total to make your walking silent and make your teleporting silent. When you explode something, it still makes noise until you get a different ability for that. But yeah, and then So basically, there's like this little conscious other alien entity in the lab somewhere else. He looks a little like what's the little guy, Glitch or whatever from Tron?
Yeah.
Is it Glitch?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Anyway, he looks kind of like that. But
do you have a Star Wars reference that we could use? Then we'll jump all over that.
And do we need to reinflate Sean now?
No,
Never.
we don't.
Never.
You don't want to know how you have to do that.
But so he's guiding you around, and he tries to lead you to other like aliens in the facility to try and get their help, but usually you just end up absorbing power instead. So then you gain like this ability to project these echoes, and so the echoes, people can see the echoes, and they often think that it's you. Or if you're in an object, you can make an echo of the object that you're in, and you can move that around. And so it's always fun to make people shoot each other through the echo. But that's got a limited range, how far out it can go. And then later you gain an ability so that you can project that echo and then trade places with an object that the echo is standing on. And so that's how I get the barrels inside of guards. And yeah, so there are a few other abilities as well. And the puzzles are really challenging and
cool.
And
that's nice.
A lot of times I'll get somewhere and I'll be like, how the hell am I supposed to get around in this? And then I'll slowly figure it out. I'm like, okay, that was good.
There's a lot of trial and error then at that point?
There is quite a bit of trial and error.
So I noticed the restart, I mean, there's checkpoints, but the restart's pretty smooth.
It is pretty smooth, but sometimes it is a little far between checkpoints. I
noticed that too.
And the only real complaint I have about it, it's not so much a complaint that, getting from checkpoint to checkpoint takes a little too long, is that when you collect collectibles, they don't auto-save. And
that's annoying.
Yeah, and so if you're trying to collect collectibles, you can spend a long time trying to figure this out, and then you finally get to it, and then maybe there's another one along the way, and then you're, making your way through the next room, and then you die, and so then you have to start over, and you're going to have to go collect those collectibles again. And so it's just time-consuming and not really, I don't really see a lot of point. One thing that does kind of annoy me is, well, maybe not annoy, I don't know. One thing that stood out to me is that you can actually get stuck. Like there are ways that you can get yourself screwed so that you're now usually you can kill yourself and so then you'll restart, but it's not like Portal where basically you're never going to get into a position where you can't get out of that position if you've messed something up, but like I said, then you can just jump off a ledge or jump in front of a laser or whatever.
To restart it.
Yeah, you have to restart it, and so if it's been quite a sequence since then, that can be a little annoying. But
yeah.
But I really like the game, and and then there's the boss battle. There is a boss battle, and that one is hard because it tries to kind of shift to an action adventure type mode, and you're supposed to be able to use your abilities, but man, it was really hard to use the abilities properly. There's this guy trying to smash you, and so you have to try to direct him into these pillars, and so then the ceiling falls down, and you have the echo at that point, and so I think you're supposed to be trying to use that to attract him. But the problem is that there's no real good cover, and so I project an echo, and then he sees me instead, and so then I have to quickly turn off the echo and then get my ass out of there before he runs up with his water shield and stuns me and then punches me. So that one was kind of a pain, but.
Is it just the one boss battle? Are you still playing through?
Yeah, I'm near the end though. I have a feeling. Story wise, it feels like I'm approaching the end. I'm trying to make my escape right now.
Okay.
But yeah, and so it's only that one boss battle.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the puzzles are quite clever, and sometimes you really have to. Sometimes I'll be spending this cycle just teleporting between like 3 rooms. I'm like, how can I do this so I can arrange these objects in the way that I want them, and all of that. And it's a real mind bender, and I enjoy that in a puzzle game.
Cool, you do.
But, and so it's a really kind of fun concept for a puzzle game as well.
Cool.
I purchased it already, obviously, since I'm near the end, I said. Oh, and there are a bunch of challenge rooms as well.
Oh, that's right.
And the challenge rooms seem really challenging as well. But very, very fun. I do encourage people to check it out.
Cool. Should I touch back lastly, on Impostors?
Sure.
Let's finish it off. That it finally came out. Like we were all waiting on it.
Finally, exactly when it was supposed to.
But it's out. I ended up purchasing it for 1,200 points.
Yes.
It did come with Team Deathmatch. It is on there.
Okay.
There is also challenge stages that are also incorporated in the game where you will win like experience points and like costume coins. They have like 3 different tiers to the challenge stage. So there's the beginner, intermediate, and expert probably.
Yeah.
And those are a little fun. It's a nice way to kind of even practice your gadgets and practice the different things you can get. So when you're playing in game, it's a little bit easier. So I thought that was really nice. It's almost like a trial type thing. The only I kind of stopped playing it because there was this week they've been talking about bugs on the game. They said that they fixed most of them. People were getting in there with all their experience gone and all their like coins, all their costume coins gone. Oof. So they said that they've got that fixed. So I just didn't return to the game.
Yeah.
After I didn't have any problems when I was playing it, and then when I heard that news, I just didn't go back to it because I didn't want to get
good idea.
Yeah, but they said that they've got most of that fixed. They've got a free DLC coming up. Excuse me. They got a free DLC coming up, and that one's got a couple more new maps on it, a couple new skins and things like that. So I was looking forward to that.
Nice.
I thought that was a really nice little aspect to it. And I enjoy the game. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've been mostly not. I played some of the team deathmatch that didn't win me over. It's that it's the
for the objectives.
Yeah, I really like the it's the one with the laughing gas one, and just like it reminds me of the it's like playing Batman on Mars. I feel like I'm playing Red Faction essentially.
Yeah, and I was about to say maybe you enjoy team deathmatch more if you're playing with people you know.
And I probably because they could get pretty crazy. And the other thing too is I've noticed some of the matchmaking sometimes is a little off. Because you'll get in there and you'll have
the teams are imbalanced
a little bit. They balance the teams out, but then you're up against guys that have like higher, so they've got bigger guns and they've got things like that. So I like that aspect too because they have. You can buy in-game things that boost up your team. You got to pay Microsoft points for it, but you can buy in-game and they will boost up like your stats. Like you can take this pill and it will like boost up people around you and stuff like that. So
can you earn that stuff in the game?
I think you can earn it as well, but you can also just flat out purchase it.
I don't like that.
Well, I mean, if you want to spend the money, I think you
can earn it in the game.
I'm
fine with them earning it in the game.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that people can just buy things with money and use it in the game.
Why?
I don't like that. Because I think it creates an unfair advantage for people who just have more money.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
They won't for long.
Yeah. And that's
but
that's the
if
thing.
that's what they're spending
Kids
it on.
spending their parents' money, there's no stop for that.
Yeah. But I mean
I'm just saying potential there.
Yeah.
I don't like that can of worms being open.
Sure. And I don't think that it's I don't think it's been abused or that I've played in a game where I'm like, but and there's been somewhere where you just are done in like 3 minutes or some that the time's gone completely out on it. So,
cool.
But yeah, I enjoyed the game. I just hope I can get back to it. I'm just scared to return. I hate when I hear stuff like that.
Yeah, it's scary.
I don't want to lose anything. So.
I wanted to try it out, but I couldn't find the trial.
That's weird. That is weird.
I went in through the marketplace, and all they had was purchase for 1,200 points or rate. And I'm like, what? But I had that problem again with that 40K Warhammer Space Marine tie-in game.
Yeah, and I got to play that game.
Yeah, and you played that fine, so
yeah.
I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what the hell.
I don't think so because I never got to play that zombie game. That the Zombie Apocalypse, the sequel. I still never got to be able to play that.
Really?
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah.
What is going
on? I've downloaded it and it just goes to the title screen.
Oh,
and
that's right. You had a problem starting.
It says press start, and I'm hitting there pressing start. Unless they change the start button on my controller. Yeah. I didn't get that update.
I clear your cache or something like that.
Yeah, no, I've done all that stuff.
Crazy.
I did go and look at Gotham City because I kind of forgot about it coming out. Was it just this week or last week?
Last week. It was
last week.
Yeah, I totally spaced it off. But I wanted to go in and look at it too. So hopefully they have the demo because I at least want to check it out.
Yeah, I'll check again.
And if it's good, I might want to.
It's a lot of fun.
I wonder because I got that code with Arkham City, so maybe I could just use that to download the demo instead.
Just to watch, like when you get new upgrades and stuff like that, they have these like cinematics, and whoever did the art direction for this is fantastic because it has this little guy dressed as Batman running around, and the music's really cool. I mean, that stuff is. I'm telling you that like those little aspects that they throw in it are really fun, and the credits alone on the game. I said it before, I'll say it again. The music is so fun.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, how about some Pinball FX?
Okay.
2 Epic Quest.
Epic Quest.
Are you done with the title?
New table. I can do it again if you'd like me to.
No, that's all right.
All right.
I think we got it.
So this was the new release for Pinball FX.
Right.
It is the RPG-based table.
Yeah.
And it is awesome.
It is.
I
awesome.
love it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's really, really well done.
And I hate RPGs.
Well,
Just like them.
Grinding is a little different, and there's basically no story. So
It's awesome.
now I got to admit, because I haven't played any other Pinball FX tables, and then I jumped into this one, and
Yay!
that may have been a disadvantage though, because
Why?
I had no idea what was going on.
Oh, okay.
It was shouting things at me, and I'm like, I guess I'm collecting loot. I don't.
For the record,
I didn't
though,
know what was happening.
For the record, that is every table you play on Pinball FX.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You
Agreed.
jump in, you have no idea what the fuck's going on, and everybody's yelling at you.
Yep.
Right.
And then you play it, and then you're like, all right, and you start to kind of get an idea, but then you can read through the rules sheet, and then you understand everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
so.
but it takes a while.
I just play like
everything has
3
a
or
curve.
4 like rounds, and then I start to learn the table,
Yep.
and then it just opens up, and
Yeah.
then you're like, wait a minute.
But I'm saying I think it was a disadvantage for me to do this one as the first table, simply because I felt like there was more
There's so
involved.
much integration.
Yeah, in terms of like I'm supposed to be
Yeah,
doing
okay,
things rather
yeah.
than just going for points
Yep.
and trying to get the cool shit to happen.
But see, that's the thing I'm saying about the Pinball FX tables too. They're all kind of like that, where there's so much like stuff.
No, I know,
that's-
but I mean, like this is purported. You level up your character, you grab objects, and it will proceed for other tables that they're going to release along with this. Or
well, this
whatever. This table.
yeah, it continues so your character keeps building over every game you play.
Oh yeah.
So you
Okay,
just
that's
keep
what it
building
is.
up.
And so I was looking forward to that. I'm like, okay, so and then I jump in there and I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm playing regular pinball. I think that was it. And so it was a little, it just felt like regular pinball
Yeah.
for me. And so then maybe that I was just a little disappointed. I was expecting something more,
Okay.
but
I really love how they
I have no
integrate
reference.
everything.
Is that what
That's
I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah.
yeah.
I really like the table a lot. I think that it's one of the in the scope of all the tables that are available, I think it's one of the tables that almost everything is easy to hit or like learnable to hit.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Because there are some tables
can
that
see
like we've talked about before that I'm like, I know what I'm supposed to do, but there's no way I can figure out how to do it. Or, you have to do all these things and then do this and it's
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that that's this case with this table. And I love the way that they organize like the fights, the battles that you get
Yeah.
into. And so there's different areas. There's 3 different areas that you can set off battles with monsters. And so
yeah,
then
aren't there like 12 bosses or something?
yeah, there's like all these monsters, and then when you beat one of each of them, each of the different kinds, you beat like you challenge the big boss or whatever,
Sure.
which is going to be kind of a bitch to get to.
Yeah.
I've gotten pretty far, but it's. I mean, I've gotten like 10 of them down or so
Yeah.
in
Wow.
one game. But it takes a while. I mean, it's a
Do you have
long
to do
game
it all
you're
in one
playing.
game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
only the leveling continues
stays. Like
Correct.
your
I see.
items that you
I
get
see.
stay.
I
Yeah,
thought
the items
maybe-
stay
Yeah.
on. Okay,
and your level stays.
I thought maybe it would stay.
But that's
continue
even.
story-wise.
So
I
then
like
you-
that
So when-
aspect
Yeah, no,
of
that
it.
makes sense.
when you're in the middle of a battle, then you basically have a ramp that's your attack ramp, and you have a smash thing you can hit that does damage as well.
Yep.
And then there's a couple of defense options where if you do the loop around on the outside of the table, that's like a dodge option.
Huh.
Yeah, on both
and then
sides.
there's
So-
the shield, which is like you parry their attack or you shield block their attack so they do no damage to
So
you.
skill shots are even more important in this, essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's not just a matter of can I, keep
No.
slamming the ball towards this one area to
No.
hope to get those points.
It's getting in certain places.
You're going to lose if you don't.
Yeah, learn the you want to learn the sword ramp. I mean, you just want to get that one down pat. And
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you get that one down pat, then you'll do pretty well.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other multi-ball modes
Yeah.
that open up that are really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I like the one multi-ball that you lock them, and then like it's the spinning wheel.
The princess,
It's the princess
yeah,
one,
the
for
princess
three
in the
balls.
tower, yeah.
I like that one because you can add in different
Did
options.
you say Princess Free Balls?
3 with the 3 balls that lock, and then that starts the
She
mode.
locks your balls in the tower.
Yes.
She's like, "Come see me." I was like, "Where are you?"
12 there for a moment.
I was like, "That's the ramp for the shield."
And then you can
I'm
get
yelling at her.
spells. You can get spells and like launch those by
that's
doing
cool.
a certain kind of attack,
Yeah.
by hitting a certain area. And again, this is the way that the Pinball FX tables work is that you really do need to jump in, like play around with it a little bit and figure out what the ramps are, and then go in and read the rule sheet, and then everything is explained to you. Because if you go into the pause menu, and I think we talked about this on our message boards too, and people were like, I didn't even know it had rule sheets. But if you go into the pause menu, into the like help and options, there's a rule sheet. And I will say that this is the best rule sheet that they've ever had, because it's a choose your own adventure rule sheet.
Oh,
and it is awesome. They're like, if you want to do this, go to page whatever. If you want to do this, go
That's
to
funny.
Which, I mean, it's applicable to what they're doing, but it's just really funny.
Yeah, that's funny. And so the trial tables are like what, 2 minutes or something?
They give you a couple minutes. I think it's all points based.
Is it?
I thought.
Okay.
I thought it was up to a certain score
That could be.
level,
That
and then
could
after
be.
that they lock the tables. They lock the flippers or whatever. So once you go in there, and it kind of just tells you what everything you need to do. I will say it's a little less descriptive than normally they are for those games, so because it's giving you kind of generalities. And in some of those other tables, they have specific modes, and they're like, here, when you enter this mode, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I would learn those other tables. This one seemed a little more upfront to me too, like a little less confusing. But again, I'm coming with a history of playing 27,000 other tables that I have.
Well, I
played
for a total of 40,000 hours.
I put it up with the paranormal table, because I felt the paranormal table was really easy. It had a lot of different things going on. You got to see like the functions of the tables and how they can throw some craziness into it. It's not just ramps and paddles. There's other things involved.
Yeah.
And I think this one really, after you kind of got the swing of it, like, oh, I got to go to the forest. The forest sets me on my quest. Oh, I've got to take all my, because I really like how they use the bumpers, because the bumpers, you got to hit those so many to go on a quest on your first one. And I really liked that aspect to it. And then when you set up the other ramp that has that sends you over to that weird puppet show, which I think is very cool. It goes to like this, and there's like, you get to see the puppet show or you get to skip it. It all depends. But I like that too, because that was a neat aspect. I never really felt lost. They had the bats thing that popped up. I was like, oh, I know what I need to do there. I thought it really explained it enough that I felt like I didn't have to like be handheld. Yeah. Some of the games I do, it's like look for the flashing lane. Well, this one, I know I had to hit sword if I'm in battle, which I thought was really cool. Because sometimes the flashing lane, you have to actually like stop the ball and look at the board.
You know what else they
find
do
it.
really well this time around is there's a lot of audio cues.
Yeah.
That are like, so when you're in that battle thing, it's like hit the sword or the smash thing.
Yep.
So like, and so it's telling you too in addition to that. So that's been handy.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
But I tend to listen to music when I play pinball.
Yeah. I've noticed I do worse when I do that with some of the games. This one in particular, because sometimes I don't know what's going on mode-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I try to look up at the little display, then I'm like, my ball's done.
Yep.
So I'm not paying attention anywhere. And then all the different items that you get, it kind of reminded me, we were talking about on the way down, a little bit of Death Spank in that way, with the names of the items. They all have the little funny names. So you go into the loot hole and then get all your different like item choices that you can go through, and sometimes you'll get epic items. And then if you get all epic items, you get like a bonus, like 10 million bonus on top of that. Yeah. So I just love the idea of it carrying over.
There's an achievement tied to those or something.
Yeah,
the
there
epic
getting
items,
all the epic. Yeah.
And I didn't know that you could change through. That was the other thing too. Is that, and then this is a little helpful hint to the people not reading, because I didn't read. Because once you get your loot, you can change your items by using the flipper buttons, and that gives you a time. It's time like 10 seconds or something between each item. So like I had this awesome sword, and I switched off to this mace that didn't do hardly any damage, and I was like, why does it take me so long to beat these guys? And I'm like, because I gave away that sword. Well, I didn't know you could change through them. So now it's like, I love it, because if I get something new, you get to compare what damage it does.
Yeah,
well, if it adds ice or something like that. Yeah, because it's really cool.
There's elemental effects too. Yeah. Some of the monsters do have avoidance to those and can resist things, and some are more susceptible. Right. So it just seems like there's so much, like we talk about them before, like the way that they're able to incorporate like intelligence into the table and like telling a story. Yeah. And this table's all about that.
And that's so cool.
Which is awesome.
And it makes me like, I know that when I play other games, other tables, if I don't get to a certain point, I end the game and I'll start over.
That's my other thing.
This one, I don't.
Exactly.
I don't care.
I was looking at my stats the other day, because these tables are amazing, and as far as like the stats that they keep, they tell you even down to like the different bumpers that you hit, like how many times you've hit them. Every bumper on the table, every table And so they'll tell you how many games you've played, how many you've started, and how many you've finished. And normally my average is about less than 50% of the games I actually finish, because if I do a really terrible first ball, I end it. I'm like, I just restart it right away. This table, I went to do it the other day, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Yeah. I'm just getting more experience points. And so it's totally suckered me. I have none that I've restarted, because you just build up experience. Who cares?
Right.
You grind on a pinball table.
And it's so...
What?
I think that's fun.
Like that. It's awesome.
Now I'm picturing you grinding on a pinball table.
You should.
The accused.
It is.
But it's...
Wait. That was a documentary based on my life. Wait, that's not good. That's calling me a rapist. That's not good. It wasn't.
Therapist.
It wasn't me.
Oh, I should have went there.
Anyway,
good table.
Are we done with grinding? You kind of brought that to a stop.
I know.
Speaking of
Mission accomplished.
grinding to a halt. Anyway, I love the pinball table. They continue to just do smarter and smarter things with their design, and I really liked it. And I like that you checked it out.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't enjoy it too much.
I didn't care for it right now. I might go back and try it again.
And you should check out some of the other ones.
I tried the ones that were already loaded into the demo. They're okay.
Do you know which ones they were? Because maybe they were terrible.
Rome. And
Yeah, those are not good.
Pasha.
Those are good. They're good.
Yeah.
I like those. But the Marvel ones you should check out. The X-Men.
Okay, fine.
Spider-Man.
Gotcha.
You should check that
Thor.
out.
I think Thor.
Thor's good.
I don't like the
good.
look you're giving me.
Yeah. Did you just talk about I was grinding on it?
But this one,
I love it.
As it goes for pinball
biblical
tables,
sense.
the fact that it opened up that sort of I just play games out now on it, and it's just totally changed my way of playing.
Yeah.
I dig it. I think
It is your pinball revolution.
It was.
It's totally changed the way I play pinball.
On that table, because if I lose the first ball on X-Men, I'll be like, screw this, restart.
F you, Magneto.
Yeah. Well, you got to throw it right
All right.
back at me, you jerk.
Do we have any more XBLA, or is that it?
That's all I got.
You can move on to demos,
Demos?
time.
and I can plug my ears.
La 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 la.
Hit me up.
Mass Effect 3. Now, I did not play the multiplayer.
I did not either.
Because my primary interest in the game is the single player. And,
I'm right there with you.
And
Me too.
If people are saying that the multiplayer is good, and I have a bunch of, well, I'm gonna have a bunch of friends who play it. But if they're playing the multiplayer, then I'll probably try that out eventually. But my initial interest is just in the single player.
You don't need it.
Right.
At all.
And so it starts off, for you spoiler babies, it starts off at the very beginning of the story. And so it's the stuff that you know is going to be coming because of how they've prefaced this game already.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically it. And then it jumps ahead to later in the story. And so there's I don't know if it's really a spoiler. You learn more stuff.
Yeah,
sure, but it's a more action heavy area. The first one is really the training area.
Yeah.
And that went really smoothly. Like,
I liked it.
I love the flow of everything that was going on.
What really surprised me right off with the demo, because I never played the second game.
Oh, that's right. So you didn't get the combat changes.
Yeah. So I really liked, and I didn't know how that was a change, because they had either you could choose story mode, role playing mode, or action mode.
Yeah.
And I was like, right there, I was appealed. I'm like, I want to rent this game, because like the way they had that described, because I went to story, because it was like where you're gonna get the story and it's less action.
Yeah. The combat's less difficult.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just,
I don't know if this is going to be on the full disc game,
Is
or
that
if
a way
this
of
was a
them-
promo for the demo.
Yeah.
Is that a way of them choosing, like, setting the difficulty?
essentially?
Yeah.
And so, but I think the action mode has like shortened cutscenes, or it's less heavy on the story.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the middle one describes it as your traditional Mass Effect
That's kind of
experience.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what I'm really looking forward to is replays, because if you're going to want to replay it in order to get achievements and stuff, you might be able to switch it down to story mode and just have a more laid back sort of experience with it.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that, but that's a great thing to mention.
Like right off the bat, I'm like, I want to rent this game. If this is the way it's going to be,
Yeah.
and I can just kind of not fly through it, but I will play it on a baby
It's not going to be
mode.
so grinding.
Yeah,
for you.
exactly.
Yeah.
And where it will kind of dissuade
that's
me from it.
understandable.
And like some of these big scope games, I just kind of want to see and be immersed by it and want them to.
And especially Mass Effect.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
Story-wise, it's awesome.
I could always go to YouTube and watch all the videos, but I'd rather sit there and play it. And then it's like, and then the connectability that was in it, even though it's not, it's like a little smidgen that you're able to. Well, from what I played,
I don't know if I would describe it as a smidgen. I mean, it's not like overpowering the controller play. You still need to play with a controller.
yeah,
I heard it's better with Kinect.
It actually is.
That's what I heard on the box.
I will support that slogan. There are 3 stages
I
of
was
it,
being
though.
facetious.
There are 3 stages of it, though. One is ludicrous, one is kind of fun sometimes, and one is totally awesome.
yeah.
So the ludicrous one is that you can walk up to like any, you walk around the world and there are objects, you can check this computer or, activate the door and all of that. And you can do all that by voice command, but you have to walk up to it first and then say basically examine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seriously, my hand is on the A button. It is far less work for me to press that A button.
But it's so much more immersive, Craig.
Actually, no. That's the opposite of immersive. It's not. It's not like then Shepard goes open or something. If that was the case, then maybe. But he still touches it. I'm like, this is tactile. Then you can also use the voice commands as choices for conversations. So instead of highlighting it in the reticle, you can just say what it is. And that's the one that's kind of in the middle. Sometimes that's fun for me. Sometimes I'm like, it's kind of goofy. But, especially when you're choosing like angry options, you can shout the line at the TV.
I like that.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah, but it's still not. I wish
goofy.
you could actually say what he's going to say because it's still in that Mass Effect
then,
mode of like,
he'll still then say
I don't think that's
something
a good
else.
idea. And then he's like, that's fucking retarded. And I'm like, well, I didn't want to be that harsh about it there, Shep. Thanks. Can we just dial it back a bit?
Yeah, but that's actually kind of nice because sometimes I don't have difficulty selecting things in that reticle, but sometimes hitting that diagonal for a choice can take me a little longer. But it was fun. I didn't do it all the time, but every once in a while it was kind of fun. And then there's in combat, and this is where it is awesome. And so basically,
Sell me.
All right. Well, okay. So remember the combat from previous Mass Effect games.
I did.
So you have your companions fighting alongside of you. Mm-hmm. And they all have biotic abilities and, can change ammo on their weapons and different sorts of things. And you can activate that by pressing down the right bumper button to open up, the selection menu. And then you go and select that thing. And that pauses the action that's going on in the background. And then you select that thing and then they'll do it.
Yeah.
And what you can do instead is basically say the command. And so the only problem with the demo is that they never really teach you how to use the Kinect stuff. You have to kind of just make a guess and do it. But basically, so what was happening here is we were in a firefight, and I was with Garrus and Liara, and you do need to know what their abilities are. However, I mean,
Garrison's ability is being a dandy. Sorry.
Is it really?
I don't know. He's kind of a dandy.
I don't see it.
Maybe not. I think it's just his voice.
He's noble.
That's what I mean.
That's different than dandy.
Okay.
Dandies are not noble, actually. Back to action.
I'm
here.
sorry.
And so, I mean, if you know what it is, so basically, we're fighting this big mech thing.
Yeah.
And like before, you have to kind of aim Shepard's target at whatever you want them to hit with their biotics and whatever. Mm-hmm. But instead of pausing the action, going up to Garrus's overload ability, selecting that, and then coming back out of the wheel, and then re-experiencing that, I would aim Shepard there, and I could be shooting at the thing while I'm doing this, and I go, Garrus, overload. And then all of a sudden you see these sparks shoot out and the mech thing kind of stops for a second. And I'm like, that is total. And then a bunch of guys come running in from the side and I point over them and I'm like, Liara, singularity. And then all of a sudden they're all like flying up into the air around this thing. So
You're selling me.
It continues the flow. You never have to interrupt the flow of what you're doing. Like I said, you can be shooting at things and doing your own stuff. I mean, you have to aim at whatever you want them to interact with. But it continues moving like that, and so that does actually increase the immersiveness. It's not so much I'm talking to my compatriots thing. That's not what sells me, but it's the fact that I can just continue playing.
You shout out orders.
I'm not stopping to strategize. I'm strategizing on the fly.
Yeah,
right.
And that's what makes it more immersive for me.
And that's in an application where it makes sense, as opposed to saying, examine, and then he raises his hand. It's not like he's even reacting.
Right.
Yeah.
That stuff is
You're
totally
saying
ridiculous.
it, and it's causing somebody to do something on the screen by your voice command, which is how it should work.
Right. And I don't know. Like I said, they don't train you on how to do it. Maybe it can also allow you to change your partner's tactics, because remember, there are the tactic settings for if they're being aggressive or not. And so that would be awesome as well, because I didn't do a lot of that.
Garrus, go aggressive.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
Slow down, bro.
B aggressive. B-E aggressive.
That's how you have to do it.
Oh, that would be
actually.
awesome if I could do that.
Would it?
I would.
And then
I would.
and then the camera whips around and Shepard's doing like a cheer.
Yeah, spelling it out.
This is a better game.
I would love that game.
And so it was nice. So you avoid
get the regionals.
you avoid some of the problems that you get with when you're pausing the action, because like maybe you need to pause because you need someone to use a biotic on them, but you've forgotten that there's this missile coming at you from the side.
Yeah, right.
You never have to take your head out of the game. And so if that's the kind of experience you like, then it's pretty awesome. Now, there is a caveat here. So those of you who like to crank your sound system up high in order to kind of forget the world around you, you're going to have your volume at an acceptable level, so you're not shouting over top of that in order for the Kinect to hear you properly. When I first started playing, I had it turned up a little bit, and then there were a couple times where I had to shout something twice in order for it to happen. But then I turned it down just a few notches, and it was fine. And so it's not like I had to turn it so it was like whisper quiet or something like that. Yeah. But I did have to pay attention to how loud I was playing.
The problem I have with my Kinect voice commands is the positioning of my Kinect and the TV that it's on, and the speakers are. I don't have a surround sound or like external speakers on that TV, so it's all coming from the TV.
Yeah,
and I think the speakers are pretty much underneath the picture.
Okay.
So it's like right in front or right behind the Kinect.
Right.
So if I have that turned up at all, like my Kinect's never going to hear me.
Yeah.
So I have that problem all the time.
But, so that is something to pay attention to.
Okay.
But I think when I play the game, I'm going to definitely be using the voice commands for combat, because I had a lot of.
However, it's also the kind of thing where I might move my Kinect upstairs because I would only be using it for audio commands and not for like movement.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a different deal too.
Yeah, exactly.
And because I think that's really where that strong point is, the voice commands of the stuff on the menus.
Yeah,
I think that stuff is brilliant, and it's sometimes the movement that is what leaves me like wanting more, not enough.
Yeah.
So I like that it's only that.
And I was one of those guys who's like, when they were talking about Kinect integration into regular types of games, and I was like, I don't know, I kind of think the only way this is going to work is when you have controller games that are controllers all the way, or you have Kinect games that are Kinect all the way. But this is a nice hybrid. I really enjoy this.
The one thing I liked about the Kinect Sports with football was being able to, say hike and hut and, call audibles, and to have that in a controller-based game too, because I need that when it comes to a first person, or a third person shooter. I can't, that's why I was like, ooh, Kinect. But then when I found out it was just voice stuff, really cool. And like you said, some of the opening stuff is a little lame. But they gotta,
ridiculous.
But with if they're gonna incorporate the one, they should just just do it all.
I understand that it's probably not that much more work in order to add all that other stuff as well. But if you're worried about, did the Kinect hear me or whatever, there is a little microphone icon that pops up when it recognizes a phrase as a command phrase, and so that lets you know that it did hear you.
Does it look awesome?
I thought it looked really good.
It does, although the faces kind of are weird, and it's been a while since I played Mass Effect 2, but I think they made the textures and stuff, like the design of the faces, more realistic.
Yeah,
but the movement is still kind of the same, and so it's got this really, I think, the disjointedness. Where like mouths weren't moving very much, and I'm like, are they all on Botox?
I thought the humans had the worst end of the stick. I think the aliens were the best. Really good.
That's true.
Some of them looked real. I mean,
they look great. And like, if you're just looking at the people, then they're fantastic. When they're talking, it's a little it's a little unnerving.
But the voice acting I thought was done really, really very well. And there's one aspect, she's like running through this place, and like there's like hardly anyone in the hall, but they kept finding her to run into, and it was just funny because everybody was in a hurry and running around, but it just seemed like everybody was like getting like all of a sudden there'd be someone right in front of her, and she'd had to like move or something. Like, everybody's mean to this girl. Well, she was a girl for me.
Right.
So,
and you can actually create a character for this, but
that's this is in the story mode.
You can't use your built-in character. Your save.
No, I don't know what they're
for the demo.
They keep showing that fake Shepard on the ads for it. I don't know who that guy
I
is.
use that standard Shepherd actually.
Do you? That's good, probably.
Because I didn't want to spend an hour building it up to then play like what I don't know how long the demo was going to be. You know,
Right.
You were talking about people getting in the way. That reminds me of that indie game Doom and Destiny that I was playing, and then that first town that you're in. They got a lot of in jokes about RPGs, classic RPGs. And you talk to this guy, and he's like, "My job is to stand in the way of heroes," and then I'm like, "Haha, that's kind of funny." And then I try to walk away, and the fucker gets in front of me. He's just like constantly moving around, and like every time you come on the screen, he starts beelining towards you. I'm like, "Fuck you! Awesome. I'm out of here."
I love that.
But yeah,
That is awesome.
yes.
Here's the thing. I started this last week, and I was like, that demo's out. I ain't checking it out. The game's 2 weeks away. Whatever. I'll wait. I can do it. And then we get here and talk about it, and I know that I'm going to play it before this fucking weekend's out.
I just wouldn't play the second.
Damn it.
I wouldn't play the second half of the demo.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
But that's the action half.
I know, but
I'm
when
sure
you
I'll
can-
be fine.
But I'm more like, yeah.
I'm sure I'll be fine. But I wanted to like keep it pure until it happened.
And I always think that weird guy.
You and
laugh
your
at
video
me.
game eugenics.
I always
It
think
is.
that guy's from Halo though. That there's a guy that's all his face is all scarred up, and he's an alien looking guy. He's got a long mouth. He looks like those weird little
Rex.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's like
Toad.
He looks like but he looks like the little
Yeah.
crazy guys from Halo, and I always get confused
Oh,
by
okay, sure.
I'm like, is he a bad guy? I'm not. Oh no, he's a good guy. I'm definitely checking it out because it felt very friendly for me.
That's
like
good.
very
And
friendly.
You never checked out 2.
No, because 1 really rubbed me the wrong way.
But 2 changed a lot.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people told me. You guys told me, but
Did you ever make it off the Citadel in 1?
no,
That
that's
is
right.
your problem.
That is your
Everybody's told
problem.
me. No, I think I made it.
OMG, shut up.
I think I made it off the Citadel, and I mined my first world, and I was like, this is fucking weird, and I'm like, I'm done with this fucking game.
Oh, you should play 2 sometime.
You should play 2, actually.
I'm playing
I'll let you
3,
borrow it.
and you guys can just deal with that.
You're gonna read about 2 on Wiki,
Yes.
and then
I don't need this story. I don't. I'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
I'll be all
That
right.
They catch you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Or you can borrow my 2.
I'll be all right.
I'll get it to you today.
I don't need that. I
That
don't
reminds
need
me, I think I
that
still have some
continuity.
DLC on 2 to play. Oops.
Yeah, me too. Like all of it.
That is shocking to me.
Maybe that's what I should do in the next 2 weeks. And get ready for 3.
You should replay it from the beginning. Start a new character.
Yeah.
Just power through it.
None of this is gonna happen. Should we move
When
on?
you said start a new character, I was like, he's done.
Do you got any more demos? Or are we good?
That was it. That was it.
Anything else to say? About
I did play
Me 3?
the Happy Fun Time Adventure Theater, whatever it's called. It was kind of fun. Odd that they just chose those 2 things to play. Like none of the mini games were in there.
It was really weird.
Like I anticipated like there to be like some fun stuff, and then one of the mini games just to kind of
It's too
get
bad,
the hook
really.
in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's some
I think
fun
they could have sold. It would have sold a lot quicker.
Yeah.
but
Anyway,
I would have liked to play a little Pong
But it
or
was nice.
break out with myself. I guess.
it was nice. It was interacting strangely with my Zoom add-on to my Kinect, just because the Zoom kind of gives you kind of a weird balloon around you as well. And so when it was doing the photo stuff, there's like this weird halo of the room around my guy. Anyway, but it was kind of neat.
Cool.
All right. Well, I played a little bit more Final Fantasy XIII-2. Mm-hmm. Not much more. I started getting into some of the time.
Make it to the Chocobo lady.
I did.
There you
that
go.
crazy shop lady?
Yes.
Yeah. So I got to a little bit of the time like manipulation, or you're moving back and forth in time, and it seemed like an interesting concept. I don't know. I really liked what the game was doing, but I didn't have the time to put into it.
Right.
And we're going to kind of get into that with the Kingdoms game too in a minute here. There's something going on where I can't make the commitment. I don't know what it is. I hope
Maybe you're just taking on too much.
I think that's what the case is. I hope Mass Effect 3 breaks it for me, but I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be hunkering down with that one. I think Skyrim took it out of me is what it did.
Well, yeah.
I put so much time into Skyrim, and caveat to that, I haven't gone back to that either.
Right.
I've kind of taken a break, and so then it's like another RPG comes out, and I'm like, yeah, I really want to try it. I want to do it, and then I kind of the realization sinks in when I'm playing it. I'm like, I don't got 40 hours to play this game right now.
Yeah.
And so I think that's
become my problem.
Part of my problem.
I mean, that's why I can't ever finish Red Dead Redemption. I love that. I think it's a great game. I just, I get to a certain point, I'm like, I want to play something else for a while.
Yeah.
You know? it's not that I get tired of it. It's just that I need other things as well. And then I spend too long away, and I'm like, I can't fucking remember what I was doing when I was playing. Guess I got to start over.
And then the cycle repeats.
Exactly.
The circle of life.
They should have called this game Red Dead Sisyphus for me.
So the Final Fantasy, I got to the point where you could capture those creatures
and then put hats on them,
and then dress them up and name them and
level them up,
and I like that aspect of it.
Final Fantasy Pokemon.
I thought that stuff was cool.
Yeah.
I really like that aspect of it, and I kind of see that I would probably get attached. That was the problem. Yeah. So that's my problem with those games, is that I find out you have such a breadth of things you can get and do.
Right. So you'd only use one guy throughout the entire game.
So I'd be getting all these new guys, and they'd be like, level 50, and I'd still be using a guy I got when I was level 3 because I got attached to him because I named him fucking like
Pikachu, I choose you.
Grendel. I had this like machine dude. And I did the random like assigned names, and they gave him Grendel, and I'm like, yeah,
that's a cool name.
That's sticking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm never going to give up Grendel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're kind of limited in their abilities. I mean, even when you level them up, they only have a certain scope of things.
That's what I'm saying, though. I would would get too familiar.
You can merge them.
Oh no!
You can merge monsters, and then so there's
I could have like my cat and that robot.
There's there's like a dominant monster, and so like the non-dominant monster basically vanishes, and the dominant monster gains an ability based on what kind of monster you're combining it with.
Whoa! I love that.
I need to play that game.
I like it.
There's a lot of good aspects about it, but then then I got to the point where I played like a couple more hours, and I was like, I just don't have the time to go into this right now.
Yeah.
So, and then that's where I just broke down again. And then the next week hit, and then Kingdoms of Amalur came out, and I'm like, yes, I'll jump into this. And then I'm like, wait, what am I doing?
Aren't they talking about that's a 200-hour game?
Yeah, something like that. Whatever. I think the base.
I rented it.
I think the base. So did I. So going into that game, Kingdoms game, because I really didn't have much to say about Final Fantasy anymore.
Yeah.
I like the different creatures. That's about it.
Yeah. This is probably their best attribute.
So have you guys figured out that's the guy from Kingdom Hearts yet, though?
Of what?
Not the guy from Kingdom Hearts.
It looks like him.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That's because
like his older brother or something.
Kingdom Hearts comes from Square.
I do want to mention though, a couple weeks
most
ago,
of their guys look like each other.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just saying though, it's almost like his outfit.
Meaning most of the guys look like girls.
Well, that too, but it's like his outfit almost. Never mind.
That's what they do.
Let's move.
He also looks like Cloud from Seven.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I do want to correct one thing. We talked about the game when we talked about the demo. We were mentioning
correct anything on this.
I know, but I feel the need to. We talked about the guy, and I think it was mentioned that the lead designer being from whatever we said.
BioWare.
It was Bethesda. Yeah.
Bethesda.
Yeah. So we just want to make sure that we did know what we were talking about. We just said they're wrong. No, but we just said it. I knew when it was brought to our attention, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It's the Bethesda guy.
Not me.
Because
and I was the one who said it. Fuck that.
Oh, it's all on Craig. I think I said on the forums that I'm going to put it all on you, but then I didn't. See, because I'm not a man of my word.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
But I forced you to be.
So yeah, Ken Ralston, we know that you are from Bethesda, and you will never hear this.
I was going to say, is he at home crying about this?
Probably. Anyway, so Kingdoms of Amalur, I did check it out. Sean, you checked it out as well.
I did.
How far did you get?
I got a little bit past the demo.
Okay.
And that was pretty sad.
I didn't get much
I was
further either.
upset about that because I really had some high hopes about the game. I rented it. I kind of dove into it and got past the demo part, kind of started doing some more searching, some more, but I never went back to it after that.
By the demo part, what do you mean? Because you have 45 minutes to just run around.
I think up until that point.
Up until that point. So I got that.
So the village.
I cleared out that village part, and I've gone. I went and did a little bit more other explore than that.
Yeah.
Kind of finished a couple missions here and there. But when I was done with my two initial times playing it, it was just like I never got back. I never got back to it. I've rerunted it twice.
Yeah.
And I don't think I played it once.
You rented it twice?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm having a problem getting, and I don't know if it's stemming, like we said before, about my RPG issues right now with the
rerented it once
with the length of the game.
It twice.
Gotcha.
With the length of the game maybe bogging me down, but it's also not getting any kind of hooks into me. Like, I enjoyed the demo, and I liked what it was doing, and I still like what it's doing, but there's just something about the story that's not really gripping me at all.
I agree.
And so I'm looking at it as far as like running around for 20 some hours, and I don't know if I'm going to care. You know, there's just not anything that's pulling me to like want to know what's going on. I do love the fighting system in the game. I really like that. I like the flow of it. I like the, you know, the way that you use the magic and as far as like your melee attacking, like rolling and dodging, like. So when you're in a fight and you're doing all that stuff, it flows really well, and I like it a lot. I like the overhead menu or the map that you have, and it shows where the enemies are located at, so you can kind of plan going in or like know what to expect. Is that all? Does everybody have that, or is it just the character I picked? Maybe.
Well,
because I think
it's an attribute that you can pick up. Yeah,
seeing the enemies on the map, because that is awesome.
Yep,
I wouldn't want to do it without that.
Or if you've gone to a section and you're from afar, you can see them, and then they kind of memorize them and they leave them there on the map, so then you can go back and
that's nice too. I like being able to. Mark that stuff.
Very cool.
So I like the style a lot. I really do not like the menus at all. I do not like the item management, and I think that it's really clunky and big. I go in there and it's so much to scroll through when I don't know if it's the font's too big or if there's so much other stuff on there pushing it into the middle, so you have a smaller window to like see your information. But I like that they separated out by the different types of weapons and ammo or armor, but it seems clunky to me, and I don't know what it is. I just cannot get over it.
I don't like the collapse thing of that.
Yeah.
I never liked it in the demo. It's something about it. It just seemed really weird. It almost seems like they should spend more time with the item section, and then they have this huge section where your character standing, and it's like you can't even really do anything. It just shows you grab a sword, and that's it. You can't like move the character around or anything. I don't know. It's really weird.
It is a little odd. I mean, it's just there's something just not great about it.
It's kind of weird to go through, and I end up like actually just junking out all my stuff anyway.
That's what I did, and I never do that. But I was like, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this menu, so I'm gonna have what I have, and I'm selling everything else off because I don't care, because I can't deal with it. Like trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, but it's too bad that you can use those items to build other things down the road if you want to.
See, and that's where my brain would trick me and go, "You need to keep everything."
And that's what's stupid, because I like sold some hammers, and I could have made like something. All I needed was a hammer or something that to, blacksmith something.
What are you gonna do? Just think of it. You're not playing the game anymore.
Exactly. And I was in the same boat with you. Is like the story just wasn't there. I was like, I don't care. It's like she keeps running into these people that they know her, but she doesn't know them, and like the mystery's there, but it's not enough to entice me to continue on. And it's like, oh, we'll go talk to this guy. Well, you were supposed to talk to that guy. Well, now I guess I got to do it. Well, I'll meet you there. It's like, what? No. What do you mean meet me there if you're going to do it?
I was
me there.
I was running.
Jerk.
Did you have any performance issues? Because audio, I was getting some.
I always have performance issues.
I know.
Listen to the show.
In game. You're having one right now.
Duh.
I was having some audio issues, like audio lag. So when I would hit things, like it would be a good 2 seconds before I would hear the audio of me like breaking things, and I'm like, well, that sucks.
No,
it would. I mean, take me out every time I would try to like. You bust crates or whatever are all over the place, and I would hit them, and they would like fall apart, and then it would go. Oh. I'm like, well, that's great.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I was just tired of fighting spiders.
And then the other problem, those spiders suck.
They're ugly.
The other problem I had is, and this is probably the biggest factor of my issue with this game so far, I played a good couple of hours, and then it fucking froze on me, and I hadn't saved it. Because it's manual save. There are auto saves, but there is a manual save option, and I hadn't done it because I was just tooling around and doing stuff and like covering a bunch of area. And so I'm like, well, hopefully the auto save got me, at least at some point. And so I go back in to continue, and it's like, oh, there's a corrupted file on here. And I'm like, oh, that's great, thank you.
Damn,
that's too bad.
So then I had to just continue on from where I initially started, like 2 hours back. So I had to redo a bunch of stuff to sit down with it, and that was a huge burden to
setback
jump over. It was like when I'm already having a hard time getting into it, and then I spend time with it, and then to have it all negated, I'm just like, I'm out.
Right.
So it was hard.
I'm lucky enough that I don't pay attention to maps, so I walk into every building, so I'm saving like all the time.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Because I don't know what's in what building.
It's probably that's probably when they do the autosave, right? Is when you go into places.
Yeah.
So I was just running free and like doing a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff outside and not going into any buildings. I was discovering locations but not going in. And then I got to this like fight with these things and it just froze. And I'm like, fuck you. And it was one of those freezes where the controller's vibrating nonstop.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
I sat on that and then I'm like,
Sit on it, Potsy.
so I don't know.
Wow.
I still
Sorry for the random pop culture reference. I don't know where the hell that
like
came
that
from.
one.
you and your happy days.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I've still got the game for a couple days.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and give some more time to it,
Yeah.
but I can't make any promises on that.
I'm not
front,
making
so-
any promises, but I have it for another 5. It's like I want, like, there's a part of me that enjoys what I play in the game, but it's like I want someone to like turn on the Xbox, get it all loaded up for me, and like I walk in the room, they just go, "Here you go," and hand me the controller. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." But it just seems like
You want an Xbox butler?
yeah, that'd be awesome. But because it just seems like when I think about playing it, I'm like, I only got like, I don't. Okay, I tried doing time in my head, and I'm like, if I really want to spend some time on this game, I'm gonna need a good hour, and I'm like, I only got like 45 minutes. Can I get enough in there? Because then you just get to a map part, and you're like, well, now I got to save, or I got to find, who am I fighting? And yeah,
I think that's why I've been gravitating more towards the downloadable games these days. They're more bite-sized. I should mention, however, I've put like several hours into Warp already. However, it does have an achievement for finishing it in 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yikes.
So that's pretty much going to take knowing where you're going and how to get through areas and
drawing a map.
having upgrades. I'm assuming.
That's crazy.
Yeah, hour 15. Well, those Mega Man games had one for finishing in under an hour, right?
Yeah. It's because they're assholes.
They're dicks. Motherfucking dicks. Are you guys got more to say about KOA?
I'm done with KOA. I think I'm good.
All right. Well, I just wanted to jump in. Something I forgot to mention when we were talking about the Mass Effect demo is that they've changed sort of the squad menus a little bit, and they're very nice, actually. Like when you go into the second part of the game, since it's later in the game, you have to upgrade your characters. They're all, they have a bunch of points to spend. And so now most of it looks the same from Mass Effect 2, where you got the different bars for the different abilities.
Yeah.
But when you select a bar, then it opens up another thing, and there's actually like branching paths. So like you can do multiple abilities on top of for developing this thing, and so it goes a little deeper into developing the characters than it did in the previous iterations, and there are just some minor tweaks. A lot of them are cosmetic, but they're pretty nice. Cool. I liked the menus quite a bit. But
awesome.
Your talk about menus reminded me.
Yeah,
I forgot about it. I like the Mass Effect menu.
Much of an upgrade over the first.
Yeah, definitely over the first game, but even over the second one.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. I look forward to it. You guys have any other games, or am I closing it out with?
That's it.
The Darkness 2.
Oh, that's right.
Here is a quick.
You liked the first Darkness, right?
I did like the first Darkness. Yes. I liked it a lot, and now after playing Darkness,
you're like, more games with tentacles, please.
The Darkness 2. I'm wondering.
I really wish we had a video podcast right now, just so we could have shown Sean's face. He does when not, I said that.
Apparently, he does not want tentacle games.
I don't like anything that has tentacles. Like, it's just so weird.
Why don't you have feet?
It's like
snakes coming out of them.
It's all like that H.P. Lovecraft, and they just need to throw that into, and then that makes things scary, and that makes things creepy, and it does, and that's the worst thing about it. It's like you put a tentacle, like if a dog came up to me in a dark alley, and then some weird tentacle came out of its back. Man, I would.
Yeah, that's every Silent Hill game, right?
Exactly.
That's true.
Which is why you hate Silent Hill.
Throw up on the ground and then run. I'm sorry.
Well, what if they have mouths on the end?
That's the
and
other
then they
thing,
can
too.
tear things apart and throw things, and
they look like those little things from Tremors.
Yeah,
but
they come out of the guy's body.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So my Darkness
and tentacles is such a weird word.
After playing Darkness 2,
yes,
I worry that my love for Darkness 1 is
has been stolen by Shadows of the Damned.
I wonder if it's artificial. Like if it's
artificial.
Like I wonder if I would go back and play it, I'd be like, well, this wasn't as good as I remember, because I did not enjoy 2 too much.
Okay. So why would you have created artificial love for the first Darkness?
No, but I'm saying I might be misremembering
No, I
my
remember
experience from the first
I remember
one.
you liked it because you would show it to me. I think this was before we did the show.
I'd show you my tentacles.
Yes,
no.
yeah, he did. I remember that.
It was
You're
before.
like, hey, check out this game. And
Well, good. Then you're able to alleviate those concerns for me then. Because what I'm saying is I worry that I'm like,
Yeah.
I thought it was a good game, and then I go back and play it and go, no, wait, there was some ass moments in this game.
I mean, you were like this. It's it's the darkness,
So there's the caveat of it's the darkness.
right?
But
Yeah.
But you're like you could do all these cool things in it. Blah blah blah.
you could. You still can, and that's what's winning about this game. Winning out for me.
Yeah.
You still.
That's the same.
I love the control and everything's smooth control wise.
Now, what if you could make that better with Connect? You're like,
You
right
could-
tentacle,
right tentacle.
rip off that arm.
You should be able to name them like Clyde and like Harold.
Clyde.
Harold, grab the car door,
That's a good name.
throw it at that dude.
See, wouldn't that be better with Connect?
I guess. So here's my problem with
How
dark.
non-committal.
Here's my problem with Darkness 2. Not my problem necessarily. I like the controls, like we just said. Like everything's really smooth. I like the combat sections. I like being able to control those tentacles like individually.
Yeah.
And like you can grab this one out, and this the one is the right stick that like is basically a whip. So it whips like up and down, or if you move the right stick up and down and then hit the trigger button, it whips it up and down, or otherwise it's normally just, lengthwise. The other trigger is the other arm that would then grab people usually, and that one grabs them and does like a special
Yeah.
kind of kill that would give you some kind of, it would either give you more health, more ammo, depending on where you put your power-ups into, like special kind of kills. And then all the time while you're doing that, you're also shooting. I mean, it's a
Right.
one gun, or you can double gun, duo handle any of the pistols, or I guess there's assault rifles and shotguns too that are just the one. I didn't like the duo because of the fact that you couldn't aim. Like I would just the triggers, you're then basically just shooting off and having to like point in the right direction. But you can actually aim down the sight with your left trigger if you just have the one gun out. So a lot of times I was just doing the one gun. But when you run into a room and there's a bunch of people and you can grab objects, throw it at them, you can grab the people, you can stun them, you can do this other stuff, and you're shooting them at the same time. You shoot them and stun them and then throw something. It's like it's really all frenetic and really quick and like fast paced and just really cool when it all works out.
It gives that feeling of power.
Exactly. And you have the little dude running around, the little darkling guy, and you can get in a power up that you can grab him and throw him at people, and then he's like hanging on them or whatever. And then you can get a power up eventually where every object you throw like explodes.
Yeah.
So just shit's blowing up everywhere, and you're just all powerful, and that's awesome. However, it seemed really like story-wise, this game seems completely empty. The first game for me actually had a drive where it's with your lady, and you have to. It's basically turned into a revenge option, or a revenge game, and there's a story that's driving you and a purpose. This game, somebody wants to take the darkness, and you're trying to stop them from doing so. And at some point, you're trying to just get revenge on them, basically.
Right.
It seems, I understand the drive, but it seems a little emptier than the first game did, and I don't know if there's just not that emotion to it, not to sound all sappy about it, but it seemed like a better drive in the first one. Also, this game is broken up in between missions where you'll go back to your like safe house, and so you're talking to all your guys there because you're kind of like a mob boss.
Right.
So it's essentially, and it boils down to every character's like, yo, Jackie, you want me to fuck up them guys or something? And so it's that for like 10 minutes in between every mission. And I'm like, okay, this is great. And so you go talk to people and they have to tell you what's going on. And you're like, Jackie, I found out that guy and we'll fuck him up, And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Everything is the same. It's just the same. And then so you do another level.
That's awesome.
You do another level where you run through and get to the end, then you go back to your hideout or your home, your mansion, your headquarters, and then all your little lackeys are running around going, "Hey, Jackie, we found that guy. Fuck him, right?" So it's just like, shut up. And then you walk all slow as
Then
ass.
you shoot out your tentacles and rip them apart.
I wish you can't though.
Son of a bitch.
You don't get them in that time frame. Only when you're out in the levels doing stuff. So it just seemed really kind of empty story-wise for me, and I don't know what that was. There was a different flow from the first game because it was kind of like a map that you walked around in the first game. You had to take a subway back to like your house area, and like you had to go down certain streets. And it was like kind of an overworld map almost, which I know some people didn't like, but I kind of liked that aspect of maneuvering still. This is just like it fades to black, it fades back up, and you're in your house. then you do whatever you need to do there, talk to people, and then start the next mission, and it fades to black, and then you just appear there again. And it just seemed kind of empty. I also didn't like some of the difficulty of the game was just getting into an area and then just unloading with an amount of people on you, like enemies. And I don't like that kind of game either.
Yeah.
And it was just nonstop enemies, and it almost became too much. And I didn't lower the difficulty rating. I think I was playing on normal. It's a shocker, I know. I think I was playing on normal, and I was not wanting to lower it down. I knew I could do it if I
You just didn't want to get teased by us again.
Exactly. Even though I could have done it and lied, right? I guess achievements would probably out me.
True.
I don't know. I didn't pay attention to if they said normal or high or whatever.
I do watch your achievements very closely.
You should, because I lie.
I'm like, man, he hasn't made it to that point in the game yet. What a fucking loser.
What a loser.
They throw all these enemies out, and one of them has got like this whip who will hit you and take whatever weapon you're using and throw it. So now you're unarmed, and so that guy comes out, and now he's out with a bunch of other
Then
people.
you whip him with your tentacle.
You try, but he takes a bunch to beat down before you can. So then there's
Steal
guys.
his whip.
There's guys throwing light bombs, and when those go out, your tentacles go away because if you're in the light, the tentacles hide.
Yeah.
And then not only do your tentacles go away, which I'd be fine with, but they also do this blinding effect on the screen if you're in light or in bright light, like sunlight, where it's basically, it turns the screen almost completely white and burns. Well, that's really awesome when there's 7 people shooting at you and they're like all trying to beat you up and you're trying to just maneuver around to a dark spot, which might not be possible if they threw one of those bombs or have a light, because there's a guy that'll come out with you with a gun and he has a light on the end of it and he just stands there in front of you. And if he's like doing that, you get the white, you can't see to shoot him. And the other 7 people that are around you.
Jeremy, why don't you just play better?
I know. That's my line. You can't use that on me. I did play better. I finished the game.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't.
I finished. Yeah, I burned through it. It's really only about a 6-hour game.
Okay.
I think is what I ended up taking, 5 to 6 hours for the single player experience. There is some co-op options, which are like a horde mode.
You should each have one tentacle.
Well, what they do is that you play these like
Sean hates this episode.
Probably the left tentacle.
on the co-op.
there.
On the co-op, you play these little separate missions that kind of fit into the story of the main game.
Yeah.
So they'll be like incorporating characters from the main game that you'll basically they're lackeys for Jackie that he has that go out and do stuff, and so they're like his hitmen squad. But they all have different powers that are kind of associated with Jackie in the main game that would have all of them. And so somebody would have the ability to call like a Darkling. Sure. And so that's his special ability. And then somebody would have the power to do this like black hole thing, which is what you can get an upgrade in later in the game. So they're like special abilities, and you can choose any of these 4 different characters. I think that'd be fun in co-op.
Yeah.
But I ran into the same problem when I had any of those kill rooms I'd run into when I was playing by myself, where it just became overpowering and it was no fun whatsoever. So I didn't continue on with those too much. I think if you had multiple people, it'd be fun. But
how does the co-op compare against 50 Cent?
Nowhere
See,
near.
now I'm starting to like.
Nowhere near.
They need to not ever make a sequel to a game, because then
50 Cent?
Yeah, because then we'll all like. We'll play it and we're like, this game sucks.
It's never going to stand up to the first game.
Yeah.
And
never.
here's the other problem is
That game is timeless.
I felt like this game, it's short. It's 5 to 6 hours, which I don't have a problem with if it's an enjoyable experience. I did have fun. The combat was fun, but there were some definitely annoying parts for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it kind of felt empty. But when you get to the end of the game, it's pretty much just a setup for another game.
Oh.
So there's really no... So it felt like a stopgap, too, between
That's
like the
too bad.
first Origin game and then this one where they're continuing the story, and then the end where it's like, oh, well, this is resolved, but now here's this, and that's going to be the next game, probably.
Go fuck that guy up, Jackie.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
You were a voice actor for the game, weren't you?
Yo.
So when I play a game and then I get to the end, I'm like, well, this is just a setup. Like, that's kind of like when I'm already not feeling it.
Right.
That's a little, too much.
Yeah.
That's
On
where
the
the
negative side.
comic book feel comes into the game, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. So
You got to the end of Back to the Future 2.
it just felt
Where are they
really
gonna kick-ass train from?
it felt really slow for me. It was at odds with itself, where the action was so over the top and fast and quick and frenetic and fun, and then you would have the story, and it kind of just felt like, nah.
That's too bad.
So I don't know.
I think that's great.
I love that you hated it. And I didn't even really hate it. I mean, I still played through it, but
I'm glad this is the game you spent the most time with, though.
I know, right? Well, because what helps is that when I know that it's like I'm playing it, and I'm like, I know that it's not going to go on for 12 hours,
exactly.
like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
exactly. So that helps push you through too.
Yeah.
But my wife was in the other room when I was playing it, and she's like, "Have you been on the same level for like 2 hours?" I'm like, "No." She's like, I'm serious. She's like, everything sounds the same that I'm hearing in there. I'm like, exactly.
That's too bad.
So there's from the outside perspective, it is, and that's how it is when you're playing it. It felt for me.
I had fun with the demo, but like you were saying, it just seems like there's a lot of stuff to manage. Where I would be like,
it gets pretty smooth.
Really? I think I'd have.
There's a ton of. I tweeted it last week or the week before, but there's a ton of licensed music in the game, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll just be in a stage and all of a sudden this like. It's usually worked where they have a radio or something's playing and it makes sense.
Yeah.
But they have these like just licensed songs, which are like all these 80s and 90s songs, and they just start playing. But I walked into this bar that was playing Tone Loc's Wild Thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is lame because I could hear it outside and you walk in. But then when it's playing and you're like tearing apart the bar and throwing pool cues through dudes and it's playing that song, then it was awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, as soon as everybody was dead, I turned that fucker off because it was annoying and like lame. But when it was happening and my tentacles were throwing pool cues through dudes' heads, that was awesome.
You got to play Funky Cold Medina to win Jeremy's heart.
That's right. Funky Cold Medina or Get the Fuck Out.
I don't remember that track.
Yeah, neither do I.
Tone Low, Get the Fuck Out. Get the fuck out.
Oh, so anyway, I'm curious to hear of anybody else's reactions to it. So if you've played it, let me know.
But then there's that
Twitter
whole
or
6-hour
Facebook or
game play. Then you're like, I could do that in a day when I have a day off.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Nah.
You should still check out one.
We'll see.
Sometime.
I think I did. That's the thing. Or I keep thinking of Damnation.
Don't check out Damnation. Or are you talking about,
Damnation?
Shadows of the Damned.
Shadows of the Damned. I keep
Don't
thinking,
check out Damnation.
because they had that whole light and
remember
dark
that
thing
game.
going on in that too, and the talking gun.
You should finish Shadows of the Damned. That was awesome.
I think you made a
I
comparison
shouldn't.
to the darkness when we talked about Shadows of the Damned.
Did I?
Maybe.
I'm a genius.
No.
I should go back and listen to those shows. See what I'm talking about. I don't even know. People don't understand.
I'm pretty sure the stuff you were saying wasn't genius.
I know lots of people. There's tons of podcasts.
Yeah.
Genius, like.
But people really.
I thought I invented
If you're at home listening to this and if you don't do a podcast, I wish I could help you understand. Like, we sit here and talk for 2 hours, and I leave and I literally have no fucking clue what I just said.
That's
like,
why
I
it's so
swear
awesome
to God,
listen to shows.
and that's why when you hear things and when you like correct us, which we appreciate because we need to know. But when you're trying to like come off, like when you're just rattling off when we're talking here and we just steamroller over each other.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we say wrong shit all the time.
Yeah.
Because there's no filter and I just don't even stop to think.
No.
And I leave and I'm like, I have no idea what I just said for 2 hours. I get home and she's like, well, what'd you guys talk about? And I'm like, I don't even know.
That Bieber thing? I didn't think that was on the show. The pre-beep.
Making fun of your pre-beep?
The pre-beep, yeah, the pre-beep. I didn't know that was on the show. And then Summer's listening and she's like, what are you guys talking about? I was like, I forgot this was on the show.
I'm telling you, it's a whole, we're like, you go into a vacuum.
Yeah.
And you leave and you have no idea.
fugue state.
It is a fugue state. That was also on the show. Oh my God. Any other games? Are we good?
That's it.
All right.
That's all.
Let's get out of here then. Signedinpodcast.com is our email, or no, that is our website. You can find links to our Twitter, our Facebook, all the past episodes, our forums, which we would love to discuss many things, video game or comic book.
On. You're missing a preposition in there somewhere.
See, you and the teacher. And all the other pseudo radio shows, there's a link to those as well. I need to update our links because we have lots of friends of the show that also have links that we probably should put up there.
Probably.
Maybe.
I need to update that.
Friends.
I'm lazy. I don't know if anybody's noticed.
Unquote.
When are we making the friends with benefits list?
I know. We're just trying to ride.
Right after
they're
this
riding
show.
They're riding our coattails.
And we
man.
want them riding something else.
Yeah, you got what?
I don't know.
Grinding on the table.
Comment. Email us at comments@signedinpodcast.com.
What
What a good time to mention that.
Yeah, where we killed the show a while ago.
And we can talk about grinding. And if you get us on iTunes, please leave a review. We would appreciate that so much. Wouldn't we, Sean?
I would. I was the first one. Trump me.
You were the
right.
first one. That's why it looks terrible now.
But no, because I wasn't on the show.
I know, but we don't know that now.
See, listeners, that's where you might be able to get there someday.
That's why.
That's how they chose me.
Oh, that's terrible for multiple reasons.
Oh, darn it.
A, it's not going to happen. B, why would somebody want it to happen to them? It's like a punishment.
Oh, there's someone out there.
You know what would be an awful name for a RPG podcast?
What?
Grindcast.
Grindcast.
Although there probably is.
It probably
called Grindcast.
exists. You just give them a plug.
You fuckers have a terrible name.
You're starting a war with another podcast we don't even know.
Probably think it's super clever. I know. I'm gonna milk this now.
Yeah, this is awesome. West Coast, East Coast, man.
We don't even know.
Fuck Grindcast.
Oh no, you didn't.
I'm going to go home and look, and there's going to be one, and I'm going to feel terrible.
Yeah, there probably is.
We should send them email.
You're gonna feel terrible. Why are you gonna feel terrible?
I got to say that.
Your lawyer's whispering in your ear right now.
You're going to cut that part, right?
Oh.
Next episode, I have no idea what's coming out.
I believe the Alan Wake arcade game comes out.
Yeah.
Either next week or the week after that. I know that for certain, but I'm pretty sure it's this coming week.
Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to check
I'm
that
going to play
out.
that.
I'm gonna play that.
I'm going to play that game.
I'm played
That
twice.
Syndicate game is coming out.
That's right. Yeah,
I might check that out.
you
We'll
should.
see.
It's pretty fun for sure.
Okay. But I don't like playing with other people.
True.
Is it only co-op?
No, I don't think
Okay.
it is. It's just the demo.
Just most enjoyable
The
in
demo
co-op.
was only co-op. Yeah.
It's another Brink.
Yeah, that's my word.
No, it's not. It is not. I didn't even play Brink.
I don't know what else is coming out, but we'll have a show.
Yeah.
We'll tell you then.
Most definitely.
No matter what, it doesn't fucking matter if nothing came out. We're gonna do a show anyway.
We've
and
proven
just
that
make
before.
Shit up.
I love that game.
We'll just come on and complain about Grindcast for 2 hours.
The next episode is all anti-grindcast.
We're coming after you, Grindcast.
Those dicks smell
Wait.
like shit.
Wait.
Wait, is grindcast worse than that Schindler's Pull List thing? Because that is still the worst,
That is a pretty.
and that exists.
Yeah, that does exist.
What?
Yeah. You never looked up the Pull List podcast on iTunes, and then
I never came across
It also pulls up Schindler's Pull
pulls up
List.
I've
Schindler's
never
Pull
came
List.
across the Schindler's
I don't think
Pull
they
List.
make episodes anymore. I think
Okay.
they've been retired for a
Is
while.
the guy who ran it named Schindler?
No, I don't
It's the
think so.
only way that works.
No.
Yep.
And then if it does, it's brilliant. Like it goes from one side to the other.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it goes that far.
If your last name's Schindler and you do a comic book podcast and you call it Schindler's Pull List, that's fucking
I
genius.
think it's really good.
That's awesome.
but-
If your name's not, then it's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bad taste.
Anyway, are we done
So how
ragging
about
on
those
everybody
fucking
else's podcast?
Grindcast guys?
Assholes.
Jesus.
It's probably girls, though, actually.
Well, that'll be even worse.
Bitches. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not really.
Everybody's going to hate us. All right, let's leave before you guys infuriate anybody else who might or might not exist.
Twitter campaign against Grindcast.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Fuck.